Welcome to Earth and Kind Quests. My name is Mike, and this video shares a look into what might happen when a Bladesinger Wizard battles against an Eldritch Knight Fighter. My purpose here is to demonstrate how various creative choices can shape the course of events during an encounter. Especially now with the new 2024 Player's Handbook, many new options are available for characters in Dungeons & Dragons. I hope for this Nemesis Battle to encourage new ideas and ways of thinking about what your characters can do. Our two characters here are the Bladesinger, Scylla Moonglow, facing her nemesis, the Eldritch Knight, Eldritch, while they both are at character level 8. They blame each other for allowing a dragon to attack at their College of Magic. The next morning, they move to confront each other among the ruins of their destroyed college. In the video text description here, you can see the web links for both of the level 8 character sheets in D&D Beyond. I created these characters as realistic adventurers at level 1 in terms of how they could perform with exploration, social interaction, and combat. I then applied practical choices while upgrading one level at a time until reaching the current character level 8. Hopefully they can represent reasonably enough about the kinds of characters that most people actually would play in a campaign that started at level 1. Scylla Moonglow and Eldritch have known each other for a long time, and they are familiar with each other's abilities and tactics. In the past, they were allies and cooperated with each other, but now today they are preparing to face each other in a duel. Scylla Moonglow plans to rely on a high armor class to avoid being hit by her opponent's weapon attacks, while she delivers as much damage as possible, probably through her high-powered spellcasting. She will prefer to stay outside the range of her opponent's weapon attacks if possible. Scylla Moonglow will go into the battle with an armor class of 16 that she can upgrade to 21 when using the Shield spell. She knows that her opponent, as an Eldritch Knight, brings a decent chance to hit against this armor class. The potential problem is that an onslaught of multiple attacks could spell the end of this spellcaster, especially if the Eldritch Knight will unload even more attacks with an action surge. Scylla Moonglow will want to start her Blade Song as soon as possible, primarily because of increasing her armor class up to 20 and extending up to 25 with the Shield spell. Scylla Moonglow wants to avoid being surprised by her opponent, who she knows is exceptionally stealthy. For this reason, she casts Enhance Ability on herself, granting advantage on her Wisdom ability checks to boost her perception rolls. Whenever the battle will start, Scylla Moonglow will prefer to shut down the Eldritch Knight with a Hold Person spell or another fight-winning spell. But she knows that her opponent's Mage Slayer feat will allow for her automatically to succeed on one Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma saving throw. In this case, the Bladesinger will attempt to deliver as much damage as possible, either with her Blade Song weapon attacks or else with her spellcasting of Fireball or another damage-dealing spell. She will conserve her lower-level spell slots for casting Shield. In most battles, Scylla Moonglow would take advantage of her fast movement speed. However, her opponent in this particular case happens to be about the same speed and potentially faster. Therefore, at some point in this battle, Scylla Moonglow as an ASMR probably will use a bonus action to activate her Heavenly Wings feature for gaining a fly speed with extra mobility options to fly above the melee weapon reach of her opponent. Eldritch is a stealthy and speedy Eldritch Knight Fighter. She knows that her best chance for defeating her nemesis will involve the element of surprise as the basis to strike first, before the Bladesinger can activate the Blade Song with access to an exceptionally high armor class. As a wood elf, Eldritch will prepare her once-per-day casting of Pass Without Trace, adding to her likelihood to stay hidden and to gain surprise against her opponent. Additionally, as a wood elf, Eldritch will prepare her once per day casting of Longstrider to add just a little bit more to her movement speed, aiming to stay within melee weapon range of her opponent. Eldritch fights with 2 weapons. She can attack with her scimitar using the Nick weapon mastery, and then she can attack 1 extra time on her turn with her short sword for a total of 3 weapon attacks, all as part of a single attack action. If she can hit successfully with her short sword, then the Vex weapon mastery grants advantage on her next weapon attack roll before the end of her next turn. Eldritch can use a reaction as a defensive duelist to increase her armor class up to 20. Otherwise, she can use her reaction to cast Shield for an armor class of 22, or she could cast Absorb Elements for reducing the damage of a fireball by half. Moreover, the Mage Slayer feat certainly will be helpful in this encounter against a Bladesinger Wizard. I am not allowing either one of these characters to access the cantrips of Booming Blade or Green Flame Blade that technically are not included in the 2024 Player's Handbook. These cantrips could have added extra damage to the weapon attacks of both characters, overall probably meaning that the Eldritch Knight could reduce the Bladesinger down to 0 hit points more quickly. I am adding just one part that is slightly different from the rules as written. I am allowing for both of these characters to use their weapons as spellcasting focus that allows to ignore both the material and somatic components of their spellcasting. With both of the characters gaining these same benefits, neither one of them gains an unfair advantage. Similar effects could be reached through the new 2024 rules about equipping and unequipping weapons, altogether allowing more options for characters to use their hands during spellcasting. The encounter begins with our Bladesinger Wizard and our Eldritch Knight Fighter approaching the ruins from opposite sides, farther than 350 feet apart from each other. They see the wreckage of the dragon attack, and they blame each other for this devastation, maybe due to a miscommunication between them. At this starting point, they cannot see each other, and they do not know precisely when and where they will meet. They do know that they agreed to meet this morning at the center of the ruins. They can guess that most likely they will meet each other within the next 5 minutes through maybe 10 minutes. Both characters approach with caution, and they will roll for perception and for stealth. They are trying to detect each other while also trying to remain hidden from each other. The Bladesinger Wizard Sailumunglo rolls 17 for perception due to the advantage with the Enhance Ability spell. She rolls 11 for stealth. The Eldritch Knight Eldritch rolls 18 for perception, sufficient to detect Sailumunglo, who rolled 11 for stealth. She rolls an astounding 36 for stealth due to Pass Without a Trace, and she will be undetected by Sailumunglo, who rolled 17 for perception. With 5 turns of movement at full speed, Sailumunglo could cover about 200 feet, while Eldritch at the same time could cover 275 feet. They need to move at half speed while using their active perception and stealth skills, and therefore the numbers of turns of movement would be doubled. In any case, though, the Eldritch Knight will be able to arrive first at an advantageous hiding place and be able to detect her opponent when entering within her attack range of 75 feet. This range is based on the Eldritch Knight's 55 feet of movement, plus her intention to cast the jump spell, adding essentially another 20 feet. Most importantly, from the Eldritch Knight's perspective, the element of surprise means that her opponent will suffer disadvantage on the initiative roll. For a result of 6, the Eldritch Knight wins this contest with a result of 25. In round number 1, Eldritch moves toward her opponent and she casts Jump as a bonus action to close the gap within melee range. Her first attack with her scimitar rolls 19 plus her bonus of 8 to hit for a total of 27, resulting in 10 points of slashing damage to the Bladesinger. Due to the Nick weapon mastery of the scimitar, an additional attack comes with a separate weapon, in this case using the short sword with 13 on the attack roll for a miss. The fighter's next attack again is with the short sword, rolling 26 for another hit, dealing 8 points of piercing damage. Furthermore, this successful hit with the short sword, using the Vex weapon mastery, means that the Eldritch Knight's next weapon attack will be made with advantage. Knowing that the Bladesinger has not yet activated her Blade Song and gained the exceptionally high armor class defense, Eldritch now unloads her action surge for another 2 attacks. She cannot use the Nick weapon mastery of the scimitar more than once per turn, so instead she attacks twice with her short sword that can apply the Vex weapon mastery upon every successful hit. Her first attack roll with advantage is a miss. The second attack is 22 for a hit, delivering only 6 points of piercing damage, but allowing advantage on the next weapon attack roll in the next round of combat. The Bladesinger, Scylla Moonglow, starts her first turn in this combat with only 18 hit points remaining. She knows that if she will stay within melee weapon reach of her opponent, then she will not survive this battle. She could attempt to cast a spell such as Hold Person to paralyze the Eldritch Knight, but Eldritch can draw on her Mage Slayer feat automatically to succeed on the Wisdom saving throw. In this case, the Bladesinger, Scylla Moonglow, decides to use her bonus action to activate her Heavenly Wings feature, and then to use the Disengage action to fly straight upwards at her maximum speed, now 40 feet above her opponent. She will need to wait until the next round of this combat for using her bonus action to start her Blade Song and for attempting to deal any damage to her opponent. But at least for now, she escaped from a seriously dangerous situation. In round number 2, Eldritch takes advantage of the jump spell, still active, to jump upwards 30 feet and use a bonus action to cast Misty Step to close the gap within melee range of her opponent for making her flurry of weapon attacks. She can make her first attack with advantage thanks to the Vex weapon mastery of her last attack during the previous round number 1. In this case, she will attack again with the short sword, hoping to score a hit that will grant advantage for the next attack roll. The advantage attack roll of 21 is successful, resulting in 10 points of piercing damage and bringing the Bladesinger down to only 8 hit points remaining. The next advantage attack with the scimitar is a miss at 18 because the Bladesinger uses her reaction to cast Shield and boost her armor class up to 21. The Nick weapon mastery of the scimitar allows one more attack with the short sword that also will miss with a 12 to hit. After the jump, Eldritch falls 40 feet down to the ground and takes 4d6 of bludgeoning damage for a total of 15 points of self-inflicted damage. She lands prone, yet she can use her remaining movement to stand up and hold her position. She knows that she is in good shape overall with her hit points, and still retaining all 3 uses of her second wind feature to regain some hit points if she will need to do so. Furthermore, with access to the Shield spell and the Absorb Elements spell, Eldritch feels confident that she can withstand at least one round of whatever damage might be forthcoming from the Bladesinger Wizard. The Bladesinger, Scylla Moonglow, uses her bonus action to start her signature move of her Blade Song, gaining extra movement, higher armor class, and other benefits. She then uses her increased speed to move upward another 40 feet, now 90 feet above her opponent, and she casts Fireball as her highest damage-dealing spell. The Eldritch Knight succeeds on the dexterity saving throw and therefore will take only half of the 8d6 of fire damage. The 36 points of fire damage becomes reduced to 18 points, and then the Eldritch Knight uses her reaction to cast Absorb Elements and to take only half of this damage, reducing the total down to only 9 points of fire damage. This battle is not going well for the Bladesinger Wizard at this point, but the situation may change in the next round. Now in round 3, the Eldritch Knight, Eldritch, is fully 90 feet away from her opponent who is flying above her. She decides to use her active jump spell again to jump upward 30 feet, reaching within 60 feet of her opponent and within range of casting the Shatter spell with her last remaining spell slot of this suitable level. The Bladesinger succeeds on the Constitution saving throw to take only half of the 3d8 thunder damage. However, half of 16 points of damage equals her remaining 8 hit points, enough to render the Bladesinger unconscious. Even worse for her, she falls 90 feet to the ground and takes 9d6 of bludgeoning damage and automatically fails one death saving throw. The Eldritch Knight takes a little bit of damage when falling 30 feet, but she has plenty of hit points remaining to sustain this damage. Furthermore, she could use a bonus action with her second wind feature to regain some hit points, but none of these issues will be necessary right now. The Eldritch Knight has won this Nemesis battle. In this moment, the dragon who previously had attacked this place shows itself again, moving to attack another community at a few miles distance. Eldritch recognizes that she may need to collaborate with her former ally, the Bladesinger Silent Moonglow, in order to track this dragon to its lair and defeat it once and for all. For speeding along our narrative, I will say that the death saving throws are successful. Both of our characters find a way to heal and recover their full strength, and they agree to work together to face the dragon in its lair. They cannot stop thinking about what they could have done differently in their duel, yet they have found a new respect for each other. I hope that the demonstration here has encouraged new creative possibilities with your characters in Dungeons & Dragons. In the comment section, I will be curious to know about your ideas and experiences about what could have happened differently in this battle. What might happen in another scenario? As always, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.